What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Snap Decisions. I am your host with the most, your Snap DJ, and I am here for another episode of Snap Decisions. Welcome. This is kind of a cool day because I am streaming right now on my Twitch. So if you haven't, go over and check it out. It's Snap Decisions. Pretty easy over on the Twitch channel. So I am streaming live from there for the very first time. I was going to stream from Twitter as well. That will come next week. I apologize, but I forgot that you have to have a premium subscription on Twitter in order to do that. So I forgot about that. You need that $11 thing on Twitter in order to live stream from there. But I will do it, which means I'll have the cool little blue check mark thingy, and I'll be there next week as well. So 3 different ways that you can now watch the show and also anything that I really do live. So that's cool. I know a lot of people don't like YouTube necessarily a lot because of the ads, and I get that. So I know on my other channel that I did, my wrestling channel, we would stream from Twitter. And I know a lot of people watched us there. Like, we'd get a lot of views over on Twitter because it's not something that people usually do. But I will be doing that starting next week. I'll just get that premium subscription. It was a little too late. I started the show. So it's a little too late to do it for today. I kind of forgot about that, but it was yelling at me when I was trying to do it, saying you need a premium subscription. And I did forget about that. They make you pay that $11 in order to stream on there. But in any case, that'll be good for any of those of you who would want to watch without ads, which is cool. So I'm pretty excited about today. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff to talk about. So I'm excited about doing that. Make sure, and I did ask over on Twitter yesterday, if you are wherever you happen to be following me, obviously if you're watching over on Twitch, make sure you follow the channel. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you're please, if you would, subscribe to the channel. And also make sure to drop some comments on there. That helps us out a lot with that. And then obviously I know a lot of you are already following me on Twitch or Twitter. Oh, these TWI things, I get them all confused. But anyway, welcome to the show. Again, a lot of stuff to cover today. Like usual, we've got a brand new Comics Corner with Venom, today's card. We'll be going over some other things. We'll be looking back at last week and what I've been playing, some new decks and stuff like that I've picked up over the course of time, and playing a Galactus deck again, which was kind of fun, although it doesn't really work very well in the meta, but whatever, it's still fun. And looking at some cards and variants that we got. I also have two top 5 and 10 countdowns today, one of which is not at all Snap related. It's Halloween themed. So, and I got this idea from watching Cozy and Alex yesterday. They do this Halloween candy thing, which I thought was kind of cool because, of course, my favorite Halloween candies are going to probably be ones you've never heard of because they may not even they don't exist anymore. So I'll be going through that. I did ask some people on there yesterday what your favorite Halloween candies are, so I'll do that. And my top 5 list as well is Daredevil villains, which I got because everybody's going crazy about that Typhoid Mary variant. For whatever reason, that got to be extremely popular. Well, I can kind of guess what reason it is. But but I digress. We won't go there. But yeah, so I thought, yeah, why not? Let's do top 5 Snap Daredevil villains that we have so far. There's a few of them that haven't made it in yet, which I'm sure will soon. Bullseye being a big one of them. He's going to return in the new Daredevil series that's coming out in the spring. and Muse, who will also be in there. So who knows? We might get something from Snap when that happens. But anyway, yeah, so welcome into the show. I appreciate all of you who are listening, watching, wherever it may be. I've got some cool stuff coming up on the channel. I still have Fawthorne Newman that we're trying to get dates together. He's a very, very busy guy. So, with the streams and all that stuff that he does. So trying to get him on. And next week, I believe, or it might be 2 weeks, I'm going to have all of the hosts of Snap on this. Very, very awesome people that they've all been on my show. Lauren Whatevs, It's Just Ree, and Benjamin Roller will be joining me on an episode of Snap Decisions, which is going to be a lot of fun. I'll just tell you, stay tuned, because there's going to be a surprise thing that they're bringing over that we're going to do on the show, and I'm pretty darn excited about it. So stay tuned for that. And of course, I'm always getting other guests and stuff like that. I have Red Eye Jedi, the person who made that deck that got me the Infinite this month. He's going to be joining me as well, and I'm sure I'll have other people on soon as I can also. So just keep your eye out. For the rest of this week, this is kind of probably going to be a light week because there's no OTA. None of that. I don't believe I'll have any other guests coming this week in particular. So I think it's going to be a light week. It may just be this show. And then, of course, stay tuned for another episode, the second episode of Two Dudes Snapping with Nick the Greek Geek, who is on vacation right now and is getting everything ready for episode 2, which I believe we'll be recording a little bit. We're doing tomorrow. So we're recording that tomorrow. So keep your eyes posted for that one. That will be out tomorrow. I know a lot of people enjoyed the first episode. Thank you very much. It's awesome. It's a great time. It always will be. We have more comics we're going to talk about tomorrow. Of course, the new card and all that good stuff, and a lot of Marvel Snap. So yeah. So thank you for checking that out as well. All right. My desk is so full. I had to move stuff away from my wife. My wife's on a cleaning kick, so she wanted to move stuff away. And this is kind of like this is my living room essentially where I am right now, but it's kind of like as much geek stuff as I can get piled in here, which is weird because we've got like a living room table and stuff like that too. So she was kind enough to let me use this space. I really don't have any other place I could put this. So I had to move some stuff around. So I have a bunch of like little stuffies in it. There's I don't know if you know him. He's from Animal Crossing, KK Slider, with his little guitar there. So he's on my desk now. I had to move him. And then I have one of my favorite comic strips growing up. Yeah, it's the Fat Cat himself, baby, with a big slice of pizza and a big old belly. It is Garfield. I have been reading Garfield comics since I was a very young man. When they were coming out in like the 80s and the 70s and stuff like that. I've been reading the little books and everything. So he's always been a favorite of mine. And I got that from Best Buy. And I do have a couple geek things here. I have Optimus Prime. He is a very, very big Optimus Prime. He does transform. He lights up too, and he has a matrix inside of him. And I'll open this up. You can see it. There's nope. You have to flip this too. Hold on. There is the Matrix. It's very cool. I don't even know. I think I got this from Toys R Us back in the day, but it's really, really cool. He doesn't have the back part of him. It's just the front. But yeah, so I had to move all my Geek Squad my Geek stuff, or Geek Squad. I'm thinking of my job. I don't work at Geek Squad. I'm just thinking of Best Buy. But I had to move all my geek stuff around. Here's something for you too. Look at this. That is Marvel related, huh? The Doctor Strange medallion. Let me see if he works. Hold on. You won't see it because of the green screen, darn it. But it does light up green, and the little time stone is inside of there when it opens up. So, yeah. So I'm a full-fledged geek, nerd, whatever you want to call me. I've got a lot of stuff laying around here that is all geek related. So yeah. But now my desk is more crowded, especially Garfield takes up a lot of room. But now he holds my headphones, so I have a headphone holder. So, all right, let's get into it, shall we? Of course, you all know this, but I'm going to just keep saying it because I'm very proud to be part of the Snap Judgments Network lineup of podcasts, your one-stop shop for everything Snap related. Make sure you check out all these awesome shows, and you can see them all right here. How Can She Snap? The Kid Snapping, No Big Deal. Just had on Lauren Whatevs. Fantastic show. Everybody goes on there and dresses the part, right? Lauren looked awesome, had the pink bandana on and stuff like that. It's just so much fun to do. I know when I go on there, I've got to wear my 80 shades and all that kind of stuff. So they're great. So check that out. Lauren's an amazing guest. She is on there this week. Snap on this. I did listen to the episode about Snapmas, Mary Snapmas, Mary Splitmas, Mary Splitmas, which was a very good episode. I have to catch up on this one, which I'll listen on my way to work the next couple of days. They are on every Friday, so you'll get their podcast out every single Friday. And then, of course, the Papa Pod. That is Snap Judgments and Glazer, who is on Saturday. Now, he is live streaming, which is cool. He live streamed his pod last Saturday, I believe. I don't know if it was his pod or if he was just live streaming. I caught a little bit of it. I was working, but I know he is live streaming now. So that's very cool. So I'm not sure what his schedule is going to be like. Probably just when he can get the time. Where he gets any time, I have no idea. But yeah, so that's kind of neat. He is live streaming as well. So check that out also. But yes, wonderful 4 podcasts here, including, and I'm not going to say including myself. I think mine's pretty good though. But wonderful gathering of podcasts here, and all of them do things much, much differently. And it's just so much fun to watch these shows. So make sure you catch them, whether it's on audio, on YouTube, however it is you listen to podcasts. Check them all out because they're all fantastic. All right. So, look, we've got November coming up. And I know I did go over these last week. I'm just going to touch on it is called the War of the Realms, which I still do think they missed out on calling it Thor's Giving, but whatever. But this is coming out next week. All I'm going to do is touch on the season pass card because, this season pass card, and I'm sure maybe a lot of you will agree, but this season pass card is pretty strong, right? Anti-Venom, I think, is one of the most... Hello, Nick. How are you? Nick is right there in the chat. Welcome, Nick. Thank you for checking it out on Twitch. As I mentioned, Nick and I doing that Two Dudes Snapping podcast, which the second episode will be out sometime tomorrow or possibly Thursday, but we will be recording tomorrow. So check that out. It's a hell of a lot of fun. So go and check it out. But yeah, so you'll probably agree that Agent Venom is probably the strongest card of this month, I think, anyway. After going through all the cards and all that kind of stuff, you know, a lot of them are very good. I know a lot of people are playing Bounce right now because of Toxin, but I think Agent Venom is probably the strongest card of this month. And I'm kind of going into this looking at these cards. And we went over this. I went over these cards a little bit with Little Robitussin on the show last week, which, by the way, was awesome. Go check that out. We had a lot of fun. But looking at all these cards, Malekith seems a little weak. Frigga seems kind of okay. Fenris Wolf seems really good. Gore seems fun for negative. And then La Fey is kind of okay. And King Eitri is very good for Thor's decks. But they all seem like they serve a purpose in a particular deck. But this guy, I mean, especially you're starting to see, I think TLSG had a deck out the other day that was very similar to the Tens deck. And I was playing it a little bit. I have that in my deck feature, but it was all big cards again. So if you get a deck like that, put this guy in it. I know Red Eye Jedi is Black Knight deck too. Anything that has big cards in it, this dude is going to get immense. And at a 3 cost, 3/8, 3/11, 3/14, you have 3. If you have 3, he's a 3/14 that you can plunk down on the last turn of the game. This is pretty sick, man. So at least I think you can, right? I think you can put him down. I mean, it says after you play a card. So I'm not real sure. I don't know whether or not that does. I shouldn't say that because I don't know whether or not that works if it's in your hand or not. But if it does, this guy's going to be huge. And I think he's going to be another really, really good season pass card this coming month. So, but other than that, just keep posted to my Twitter because I will be doing drawings for season passes. I always do 2 drawings for season passes. So make sure that you keep an eye out there. I'll get that out or get that started probably this weekend. So I would say like Friday, Saturday. I'll get that out there for people to start entering. And all you have to do, it's very simple. You just go and you follow me on Twitch. I should do that. Follow me on Twitch, follow me on the X, and then, of course, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and then comment on, and I may vary it up a little because now that I'm on Twitch using this too, I may just have you maybe comment on a video of wherever, either maybe YouTube or Twitch or whatever it might be, to enter. So I will be having those. So just keep your eye open if you want a chance to win a season pass. So yeah. All right. We're going to go and I'll move through these again. These are all the season pass cards. The ones that look really interesting to me, of course, are our starter, Fenris Wolf, of course, looks pretty cool. And King Nitri, I don't know. King Nitri seems to me like he should be better than just Thor's, but we'll have to see. And obviously one of these cards, we don't know which, but one of these cards are going to be in Deadpool's Diner, which is coming back this month as well. We know Surtur's not, but we know one of these cards will be in the Diner. I don't know which one it'll be, but we'll see. And there, of course, is your season pass. Some cool stuff there. You've got, of course, the Surtur card, and then you got the alternate art. You got some Thor and some Odin alternate cards coming. And then you got the avatars. You got a gold border, so that's kind of nice. That's one of the expensive borders. And then you got the card backs, the Surtur card back, and then that is a Gore the God Butcher card back as well. So that's kind of both pretty cool. I don't know which one will be. It'll probably be the Surtur one will be the gold one, the season pass, which will look kind of weird because he's already all red. And if they put that in gold, he's just going to be gold. I don't know. The Gore the God Butcher one might be better. I don't know, but it might be a little bit better. So in the gold, but we'll see. They usually always choose the season pass one, I think, as the gold one. So, all right, moving on. So let's get into it. My weekend snap, and of course, the meta report. Well, I can tell you this: the meta is a lot of bounce, a lot of bounce. But I think I have here on the list, and I'm going to show you a deck that's anti-bounce. So if you're having problems with bounce. This is a very good deck, and I think it was made by Browday, and I'm pretty sure I got it from KM Best's Decks of the Week stream, or his Decks of the Week video, rather. So I think I have that posted here. If not, I'll read it off. But I've been playing that lately, and it is really, really good against bounce. And no, it does not have Invisible Woman and Killmonger. But it's really, really good against bounce. So I'll get to that. But yeah, bounce has been, I've been seeing a lot of that when I'm playing on ladder, a lot of bounce. Still seeing some of the move card stuff with Scream and Kingpin out there. Still see a little bit of Arishem, but not nearly as much. What else? I've been seeing some people trying Galactus. Some people playing Galactus decks. I saw like a Destroy type. Somebody's playing Destroy. I'm seeing the one with Symbiote Spider-Man. So I saw, the funny thing is I know Galactus inside and out. So if someone tries to play it against me, I know it right away. I know what cards go in all of them, and I know it right away what they're trying to play. So I will cover the lanes with as much power as I can right off the bat, and so they can't use the Galactus. So, but yeah, usually I will recognize those right off. You can't fool you cannot fool the Galactus guy. You can't fool me. I can see it coming a mile away. So I played a little bit too. It is hard. It's unless you use something gimmicky with it, which is the symbiote. But even the symbiote now, people are onto. So they often know that you might be playing a Galactus in that symbiote with the symbiote Spider-Man. So they're kind of onto that. And so you're really not surprising anybody. And to play Galactus just by himself without any sort of gimmick is next to impossible. Because the bounce prevalence right now are just filling those lanes up with power. You can't possibly get that off in those lanes. The only way you can do it is maybe to get a turn 6-1 and get it off before they play all their cards down. But even then, they're going to end up beating you. They're going to outpower you in that lane because you have to have just the Galactus in there just to get it off. So it's very difficult to play. I still say, bump him back up to a 7. bumping back up to a 7. To be honest, I don't even think a 7 would matter. I really don't. I don't think a 7 would matter. I think it's still weak to a lot of these decks that are just putting down immense amounts of power in lanes. So I don't even think a 7 would make that much difference. So, but look, we have the Fantastic Four coming up next year. I'm sure that they're probably going to do a Fantastic Four season, I would think. I know all the cards are out for the group, but there's a lot of other cards that can stick in there. And I would think Franklin Richards could be one because he's a big part of that movie. He could even be the season pass card, and he's a very powerful character in Marvel as well. So I would bet they would, and if so, they should have a new Galactus variant, I would think, attached to that, since he is going to be in the movie. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. I know a lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do like it. It's a very polarizing card. But it's people don't necessarily like. They don't necessarily like not having the locations. And that, again, that falls in line with Second Dinner and the way that they nerf cards. And a lot of people got, we'll talk a little about that too. We got that OTA, right? We got the OTA. Let me just pull up the OTA really quickly here. I have a picture of it. I don't have it on the slides, but I kept the outline of the OTA, I believe, or did I? Maybe I didn't. Yeah, maybe I didn't do it. But anyway, well, we all know what the cards are there, right? I mean, and the biggest one, and the one that people are really upset about is the Storm one. And I couldn't understand why in the current meta they'd be upset about it, because the only deck I'd seen playing the card is the War Machine deck. And as I said on Twitter, you kind of had to know that was going to get nailed. You kind of had to know that as a player. Second Dinner does not like it when people can't play their cards. Hence Galactus. That's it. You can't play your cards on the other locations because there are no other locations. So it brings it down to one location. And many times if you're playing Galactus, you have something that's going to limit that. If you get the priority, you're going to have an Goliath. You're going to have something that's going to stop them from playing what they want to play. So those types of decks are not going to fly. They're just not going to stand pat. They're always going to get rid of them because, when Clog was getting obnoxious, when the Cannonball one was getting obnoxious where, you couldn't play cards, they're always going to get nerfed. Always. Now, some people are saying it should have been War Machine, but they already just bumped up War Machine. And they did say in the notes that they liked what he was doing in other deck types. So I don't think they were going to nerf him again to make the card unplayable, which is essentially what have happened. So Storm, people are saying, well, it's an early level card. It's going to ruin people playing. I mean, I wouldn't know. So that I would have to hear from newer players. Are there a lot of newer players out there that are playing Storm? I mean, let me know. I would not know. So if that's the case, then okay, I can get the reasoning behind that. But I really don't get a lot of the backlash behind Storm unless you're a player of the War Machine deck. Now, listen, I know, and I've said this last week and I joke about it because I said there's people who just want to watch the world burn. And they want to win at any cost, at any condition, and they will do whatever they have to do so, which I completely get that on ladder. I completely get that on, especially high ranking ladder, and you care about your rank and all that kind of stuff. I get it. You're going to play with the deck that's going to allow you to win as many games as you possibly can. That said, the War Machine deck was obnoxious. It really was. Like if you get to the point where if they get the Storm out and they get the Legion out, you're done. You have no sixth turn. They can because they have the War Machine out. Unless you're playing a War Machine deck of your own is the only counter to that. So those kinds of decks aren't ever going to be left fly. They're not going to be let alone by Second Dinner. They're always going to be taken out of the equation because it just shuts your opponent down and they don't like it. And, look, as a former Magic player, I get it. There have been many, many times through my history of Magic that I would sit and play against decks that wouldn't let me do anything. And it sucks. You're sitting there with a friend of mine played a card called Stasis. Stasis used to tap everyone's cards. Every time you tap a card to attack, your card would stay tapped and wouldn't untap. And he would have ways of tapping your cards too and everything like that. So completely obnoxious. I remember watching him play a game at a tournament where there's a person playing against him with elves. Now, back then, elves were just little tiny 1/1 creatures, but you can have multiples of them, like tons, and attack like you with 10, 12 points at a time every turn. Well, he had his whole side of the board with all these elves completely tapped, not able to do a thing with them. And the person had to concede. There was nothing he could do. And getting into, and of course, that kind of stuff was banned by Magic. That stuff can't exist in games like this because they're not made for decks like that just completely stop your opponent from doing anything. And so, listen, I get it. For those who like doing it on ladder and stuff like that, it was an easy win. You knew what your combo was. You knew if you got it, it was an easy victory. And you could snap if you know you have your combo. If you see the Storm and Legion in your hand, it's a snap condition. And so if you have it, you're going to most likely win the game. So I get it. It's easy, but I'm not at all surprised by it. So like I said, I really don't get the backlash from it. Unless it's just people who really like to watch the world burn. So there's nothing against that. I mean, look, my one of my best friends was playing a deck like that in Magic, and he liked to watch the world burn. So it's what it is. His decks were like that. Every deck he ever made in Magic was a lockdown deck. That's what he liked to play. So I get it. And there's ways to do it. You kind of think that they wouldn't make cards like that, right? Like cards like that wouldn't get made if they didn't want that in the game. But I get it from their end. You get a lot of backlash with stuff like that from the players, and you can't create stuff like that. So, all right, just went off on a little side tangent there, but let's go. All right, so here we are. We're at the decks of the week that I have been playing. Now, this is TLSG's deck. I just named it Big Power because, whatever, that's what it is. This one has the Hood Nico. Nico's very good at getting rid of your Hood. There's other ways to do it too. Of course, you see a Tuma in here, and he's very good at it too. So the Hood Nico is Zabu. Zabu is in there to get out all the 4-cost cards, which you have a lot of them. You have a Tuma, Crossbones, Cull, and Typhoid Mary. The new Typhoid Mary variant wasn't here yet when I did this, or that would be in there right now. Psylocke is in there for some extra points to get these big guys out quick. Shadow King and Cosmo are your tech cards. Shadow King, obviously very helpful against Destroy, very helpful against Bounce. If you don't have priority, obviously, then a lot of times they don't, because they're able to pick up all their cards and give you priority. That's what they want to do. Cosmo's in there to stop any on reveals. Killmonger is also nice in this as well to get rid of some of those early bounce cards that are out on the board before they go and pick them all up. And then, of course, you have a Tuma. He's just a lane cleaner. Again, you can put him in the same lane with your Hood. He'll get rid of the Hood. If you couldn't do it with Nico, he's also in there to clean up junk. So if someone tries to junk up one of your lanes early on, goblins, whatever the case might be, you just throw a Tuma in there and he'll get rid of it. Crossbones, just, another big card. Cull, and then Scar just gets really, really cheap. You get all these 10s out. Crossbones, Typhoid Mary, a Tuma, whatever, and Scar is going to be like a 2 on your last turn. So this is a lot of fun. It just creates a lot of big power. It's kind of like almost, a little along the lines of the Big Dumb Idiots deck, right, that Gunny T made back in the day, a little along those lines. But this is just mostly a lot of 10s. So I think it's more similar to the 10s deck that used to be out when you had Mockingbird, that you're able to get ridiculous. You get a 0 Scar and sometimes a 0 Mockingbird to play 20-point play on your last turn. But this is fun. And now that Typhoid Mary is kind of gone down a little bit, she's only going to really hurt the stuff that's in her lane. But even that, if you put her down, like on turn, you get her down early because of Zabu, put her down and then put in like another big card, it's not going to matter much. If you put another 10 in her lane, it's still 19. So Typhoid Mary and Scar. So yeah, Hood, Nico, Zabu, Psylocke, Shadow King, Cosmo, Killmonger, Atuma, Crossbones, Cull, Typhoid, and Scar. This is just overwhelming your opponent with big power. That's really all it is. You've got some tech in there. The Cosmo obviously is going to protect your big dudes. So put Cosmo in one of those lanes, and you're going to want to play those other cards in there so they cannot Shang-Chi your lanes or anything else that can harm them. But yeah, so this is it's just big power. You're just overwhelming your opponents with big power. So that's what this deck is. All right. Next one is the Galactus deck that I've had some fun with. Now, this is a little bit of this is a standard ramp Galactus list. This one in particular is Black Dama's. He uses Prof X all the time in his Galactus deck, so I'll shout him out. I never really used to do that until I saw his first Galactus deck that he came out with, but this is actually kind of good in this meta too, because the Prof X will stop the bounce lanes. So, if you can get him out, you pop him out early, maybe with a wave or something, get him out early enough that maybe you have the Nebula on that same lane. You can really lock down a lane. They can't bounce their cards into that lane. And all you would need to do is just get one of those big cards like the Goliath or the Red Hulk, and you could possibly win that one other lane. So yeah, it's Nebula, Nico, Daredevil, Jeff, Electro, Wave, Shang-Chi, Hobgoblin, Professor X, Galactus, Goliath, and Red Hulk. So I played this list a few months ago when Dama came out with it also. And this is, it's pretty good. Again, the Galactus play is not always necessarily going to be your big play. You can maybe wave them out. That's not always even a guarantee unless you have priority. Sometimes you can just get priority by having a Nebula down, putting out the Daredevil. Now he's a 2/3. And so that gives you a little more power there. You might have a 5 then with a Nebula in the lane. Maybe you get the Jeff or the Electro out. Then you're up to 8. So chances are you're going to have priority with those 3 cards out on the board. And then Wave can give you the 5. So that'll be extra. And then you can get the Galactus out. But you want to make sure you have the Hobgoblin in there just to put in that lane after you do that you have left. Or you want to make sure you have the Goliath to clean things up afterwards. Or the Red Hulk to throw down in the lane also. But I have seen times where I've thrown a Galactus down, I got it off, but they already had a decent amount of power in that lane. So they might have had like a 5 or a 7, and they end up winning because I just had the Red Hulk. He wasn't getting enough power from them them not using energy. So I wasn't able to win the lane or outpower them, which will happen because your Galactus is only a 6. So yeah, so it's Nebula, Nico, Daredevil, Jeff, Electro, Wave, Shang-Chi, Hobgoblin, Professor X, Galactus, and Goliath. This deck is going to be all gold at some point in time. I need 2 more. I got the Nebula finally. I didn't have a gold Nebula, but I got the Nebula. I still don't have a gold Professor X or a gold Nico. So that's what I need to do to finish this and make it all gold. The Jeff I do have, but I'm just keeping him in the black and white right now because I think that's sick. But I can put that in gold. I have him in gold too. So I have every card here in gold except for Professor X and Nico. So I'm going to keep trying to split them, of course, during Splitmas until that ends. So I'm going to keep trying to do that. And yeah, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, be my first all gold deck, which is fitting because I've played so many of these cards. And if you could see, some of them are really cool. The Nebula one, I like this card the best of the Nebula variants. She's the one that's kind of hanging up by the wires. That was when Thanos had her captive. So that's the MCU Nebula. The Nico's the Tarot one with all the eyeballs and stuff like that, which I dig. The Daredevil one's the red suit and hip Daredevil. The Jeff, of course, is the Killer Whale Ultimate one. The Electro is the Ultimate one too, and this is just one of the sickest variants I own. Gold Electro, gold background, gold border, and green crackle. I mean, amazing. Can't ask for a better one. The Wave I go back and forth on. I like this one now with Jeff, so I've been using the Wave with Jeff. The Shang-Chi, the Hobgoblin I go back and forth on too because I kind of like different artwork. Professor X, I go back and forth with him too. I like the Noir one where he's in the wheelchair, and look, that looks really good in ink too. And this one looks cool as well. This is the one that wears the helmet. And then of course the new Galactus, that's the nullified Galactus, the Goliath, the close-up from Pandart of the Goliath face, and then the Red Hulk on the motorcycle. The venomized version of Red Hulk. So, all right, so that's the Galactus deck. This is the Browday deck. Now, this is not the anti-bounce one, but this is the Browday deck that I believe he won a tournament with. And it could have been that Creators Tournament if I'm not mistaken. But this is Kitty Pryde, Hydra Bob, Hawkeye, Shadow King, Mysterio, Red Guardian, Hope Summers, Gladiator, Super Skrull, Gwenpool, Mockingbird, and Sasquatch. The Mysterios can be, Gwenpool, you can hit the Mysterios with them. They just are big across the board. Red Guardian right now is really, really good. Really, really good to put out there because he can smack some of those things that the bounce player wants to get back so that they can't keep getting it back. Shadow King, again, your tech card, very good. Hope Summer's just going to get that stuff out early. Super Scroll right now is also very good. There's a lot of ongoing stuff that you can get from him and a lot of ways he can work for you. Mockingbird Sasquatch has been that's been a combo for a while. And especially, the Mockingbird playing out the Mysterios, playing out the arrows from Kate Bishop is going to be low. And she could even get bigger too with the Gwenpool as well. And Sasquatch, again, playing all the cards out can get low as well. So this is it's just kind of a weird list. It's a combination of the Mockingbird Sasquatch thing. Gwenpool's also in here to just make those Mysterios bigger. Gladiator to steal a person's card. Super Scroll, which just works. I don't know why, but it just really works. And then Hydra Bob and Kitty Pryde. This, of course, is very meta dependent. It's going to depend on what your meta is in order to be successful, how successful that this deck would be. But yeah, so that's the Brade deck. Again, it's Kitty Pryde, Hydra Bob, Hawkeye, Shadow King, Mysterio, Red Guardian, Hope Summers, Gladiator, Super Scroll, Gwenpool, Mockingbird, and Sasquatch. And then we have this one. This is and I'm always going to play a deck with Man-Thing in it. Always. It doesn't matter. When you can put the Man-Thing in a deck, I'm going to play it. This I just started playing yesterday. It's called Toxic Ajax, and I think I got this from KM Best's Best Decks. This one has Echo, Hydra Bob, Hazmat, Daredevil, Shadow King, U.S. Agent, Cosmo, Luke Cage, Negasonic, Teenage Warhead, Supergiant, Man-Thing, and Ajax. So Echo, of course, is, listen, I don't care when you play this card. People are just going to forget. She's like the invisible card. You put that card down on turn one, people are going to forget it's there. I guarantee you they'll forget it's there. It always, always, always happens. The other day I was playing this, person put Wong smack down on the Echo lane. And I'm like, what are you doing? But I've done that myself. I've forgotten about it also. I've forgotten someone plays this card. I don't know what it is about her. Maybe she has stealth properties. I don't know. But people forget she's there all the time. So, but this is it's just a card that no one plays, and people just forget she's there, and they throw ongoing cards down on that lane. So, plus she's also going to deter things, right? If you know that she's in the lane, you can pretty much, if a person's going to play Wong or something like that against you, you know they have to use the other two. And at that point, then you can get the Cosmo out in one of the other lanes. So now you have Echo protecting one of them, Cosmo protecting the other, no one reveals. So that helps as well. Hazmat's in there, Hazmat Luke Cage combo is all, that's just going to pump up the Ajax and everything like that. Many times you could play Ajax down on 5, Hazmat down on 6, and, Daredevil is in here. Just to see what your opponent's going to play or where on turn 5. Shadow King obviously is your tech card. U.S. Agent's a tech card, which is going to take off points from big cards on that. So again, you're just looking for the toxicity. You're looking for the toxic stuff. Negasonic's going to blow up a card that they can't play on that lane. Supergiant is the weird one here, but Supergiant is going to help to stop bounce. Because if you get that down many times, and when I was playing this yesterday, many times I had bounce players will leave the game. If they see Supergiant hit the board, they just leave the game because they can't do anything about it. All their big plays aren't going to happen necessarily the way they want them to. So, but yeah, so Supergiant, and then you got Man-Thing. Man-Thing can just solo a lane. It's as simple as that. Man-Thing can just solo a lane, and he's very good. And anybody that puts down a lot of ones and stuff like that, again, they can just solo that lane. So it's just really, really good, really, really good card. So, and then Ajax can just get really big. He's kind of like this equivalent to, like, if you compare this to like Zoo, he's kind of, he's in there as your big last turn card. That's just going to win you a lane, like Gilgamesh and Zoo. So yeah, this one's a lot of fun. All right, I don't have that other deck listed, but I'm going to talk about it just real quick here. Because I was playing it the last few days. And let me pull it up here really quickly on Snap. Oh, I thought I had it in the list, but I didn't bring it up. So just give me a sec here. And boy, my Snap takes so long to load. I don't know why. I don't know why it takes so long to load, but it does. Loading. Isn't this fun watching this thing come out? Okay. The anti-bounce deck. So this has Silver Sable, Maria Hill, Nico, Pixie, Hawkeye, Mobius. So the Pixie Mobius combo, Speed, Copycat, Wiccan. So it's a Wiccan deck. Sandman, Dr. Doom, and Eliath. The Pixie works extremely well. I have gotten a 1/7 Sandman to play. I've gotten a 1/10 Eliath to play, which reminds me of the first deck I hit Infinite with, because I had an Eliath in there that many times, because of Pixie, ended up being a 1/10. You can get all these cards out. The Maria Hill's in there to play to Wiccan, because you're always going to get a 2 draw. So you've got 3 1 draws, you got 2 2 draws, and then you get that Wiccan out, and then you have more energy. The Sandman ruins the bounce. You play Sandman down on turn 5. They can't. Their cards all go up by 1, so that stops them from playing all the zeros, all the ones, all that kind of stuff. So they don't get as much out. You got the Eliath, which many times could be a cheap Eliath that you can roll over one of their lanes with. Mobius is good against them, but also for you with the Pixie. Copycat is fantastic because she's many times copied like Rocket Raccoon in a bounce deck, or their Toxin also sometimes will get copied. Speed, look, everybody overlooks this card. Everybody overlooks this card, Speed. He's really good, man. He just keeps gaining power. He can end up a 3/7, a 3/9 many times. He's just pretty good and a very overlooked card in that season. This deck, it works. So if you're having trouble with balance, it's Silver Sable, Maria Hill, Nico, Pixie, Hawkeye, Mobius, Speed, Copycat, Wiccan, Sandman, Dr. Doom, and Eliath. Dr. Doom is just a great last turn play. And you can play him on the turn that the Sandman's played, get him out there, and many times it would just win you all 3 lanes. So it is a very good anti-bounce deck. So if you're having problems, check it out. It is a really, really good anti-bounce deck. I beat many, many bounce decks with this yesterday on ladder. So, all right. So moving on, this is a variant section of the show. I know a lot of you audio listeners can't see this, and I apologize, but first I've got the War Machine one. This is the 700 gold variant War Machine. It just came out a couple days ago. I get these all free now on my ladder, or on my in my spotlight caches, because whenever a 700 gold one comes out, it's new. I have them all, so I automatically get this one rolled from a cache. So that's where I got this. It's pretty cool. There's smoking guns in the front, everything like that. I kind of like it. War Machine's variants aren't all that great, and I don't really have any real good ones. So yeah, this one's as good as any. I have this now set as my main War Machine variant. So next up, this sick Taskmaster, man. Wow, this is really cool. Again, another 700 one that I didn't have to buy because I got him in a cache. But he's sick, man. Just a close up of his head and the skull. And you can see like the mask and stuff like that. This is absolutely just sick. The hood, you can see part of his shield, the sword on the right-hand side. Beautiful, beautiful variant of Taskmaster. And now it is my favorite Taskmaster variant, although I never really play him much. So he was played so much in Shuri, and that deck just doesn't get play. But yeah, this is really awesome. The armor variant won. Yes, I'm so happy for that. I am so thrilled that it did. Again, in honor of the artist that drew some armor and many other things for Marvel. I'm just so happy that this won because, like I said, of the artist who passed away, John Cassidy was his name. So I'm really, really glad that this won. Again, no offense to the people who voted for the others. I don't think we needed another Noir Howard the Duck. We already have one. And yes, and Destroyer. We have so many cool Destroyers, but I'm very glad this one this won that, and I hope it was because of a lot of people that voted because of John Cassaday. I know I put that out there on Twitter, and people did see that and they did voted for him. Thank you for that. I think it was just a cool gesture. But I like this, and you can see the matte red border I have on there, and I have it in gold and the gold sparkles and stuff behind it. So just a really cool looking armor. And whenever I play it, of course, I will be playing this one. I really like this variant of armor. So yeah. All right. Next up, I have, oh man, the Galactus. There it is. The bundle one that everybody crucified me for on Twitter. I still can't believe that, but whatever. Look, people got to do what they got to do. I'm not going to go into it. I'll just say one little thing here. Nobody knows everybody's situation, right? Don't pretend to know what other people's situations are, right? Like this, as a matter of fact, people, yelling at me because I bought it. I didn't buy it, guys. It was a gift. It was a gift from my daughter and her partner for my birthday. It was an Apple gift card that I just happened to have sitting in my, thing. I didn't use it. And so I used it. So you never know people's situations. So just think before you post, because you just don't know what it is. And I was a little taken aback by it. Love free. Yes, free is great. I was taken aback by it, but it is what it is. I'm over it now. I should just understand that Twitter, you're going to just get that. But the gold with the purple border, the purple sparkly border, and then the blue crackle. I mean, you can't get much better than that. Galactus, I have every border known to man under the sun. But I mean, with the blue coming off of him the way it is, and how he's crushing that you can see the skull and the planet there, and the planet is just emitting this blue light. It works perfectly with the blue crackle. So another amazing Galactus variant, man. And that's the one I'm using now, of course. The Deadpool one. This came from the anniversary celebration bundle, which was a very good costed bundle, $9.99. You got some good stuff with it. I think it was 1,200 gold, so definitely worth it. But this is Daredevil Toonpool. So cartoon Deadpool riding the little bullet. It reminds me of Bullet Bob from Mario. So very cool. I have so many Deadpool variants, and again, I never really used the card. I'm not a Destroy player, so I don't use him much, but I have a lot of the variants. The Iron Man variant, man. This one was sold in a Newverse shop. Nobody knew about this until somebody started spreading it around, and this was just really cool. He has a big hole in his helmet. I really am not sure why. Lauren was saying he's kind of fading away. It does kind of look like that, right? Like through his stomach and stuff too. It might have been snapped away in this. Like maybe this is a variant of the snap away, of the Thanos snap. I don't know. But I think, if I remember correctly, I can't remember what version of Iron Man was in the Infinity Gauntlet comic now. I don't remember off the top of my head. If it was his silver version, it could have been, but it certainly looks that way, right? With all the holes and stuff in it. But this is a really cool variant. I did get gold now for, I keep getting texts. I keep getting, sorry. I have a gold, I have gold now. I got a gold variant for him, and the white crackle just looks pretty cool, especially with him fading into oblivion like that. But this was a neat one. And on the Newverse shop if you want to go and get it. The Toxin Baby. I'm not one for babies. I'm not one for baby variants. Not real babies. I've had two. But I'm not one for the baby variants, but this one's pretty cute. He's pretty cute. He looks like he's licking a lollipop of himself. And then you see Spider-Man kind of hanging down there. So this one's pretty cute. This was a 700 gold variant that I got as well. The day before it released, actually, what Nick let me know that you could do that when you have all of them. You can go and you can get out of your collection or your tracks, your caches, that you can get them on the day before they're actually released into the shop, which is how I got him. So yeah, he's pretty fun. He's pretty fun. All right. So next up, now these are the spotlight ones from last week, which I kind of got stuck with. Unfortunately, I didn't really want to get them necessarily, but this is Elsa Bloodstone. I have a few Elsa variants that are pretty cool. I have the one that came when her card came out the first time, they were like the horror variants, the ones that were, she had the guns and stuff like that. It was like the old style classic guns. I have the blade from that too. They were just really cool. This one's okay. This one's all right. It's like, I didn't split it enough to see, but I imagine the gun and the smoke from the gun and stuff is probably 3D when you do. But yeah, I got this one out of the caches last week. We'll see how I do in caches, by the way. I don't know if I'll be on in time to let you guys know. I think I did them live last week. But I have 10 keys, 10 keys saved up. So we'll see how it goes. You know, you never know if you're going to visit the 4 keys. It's been a while. I did 3 last week, which is why I got the Elsa. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes when I pull for anti-venom later. This Black Knight is absolutely sick, man. The flames and everything coming off the sword, just an amazing Black Knight variant. The detail in this, the feathers, my God, the artwork on this is just stellar. Like all the little fine details, even in his armor, you could see like the little patterns drawn, the gloves, everything like that. This variant is just sick. And is now my permanent Black Knight variant. Just absolutely love it. You know what I thought though when I first saw this? He kind of looks like he looks a little like Judge Dredd. He looks a little like Judge Dredd in this picture, right? With the helmet and everything like that. And the law. He looks like Judge Dredd, doesn't he? Like he did. But this Black Knight is sick. Absolutely sick. I had to get it. All right, we're going to look at a few bundles. Now, this is going all the way to the end of November because we went over the other ones. This is your Black Friday sale bundle. They have one of these every Black Friday. This is $14.99. 2 matte black borders, 1,500 credits, 1,500 gold. Nice amount of gold and credits here. Definitely worth it. If you can spare the 15, it is $15.15 for everything. You get the boosters and the matte black borders. So pretty darn good value here. 327% bundle value, 225% currency. This is a good one. Definitely for sure. When everybody goes out shopping on Black Friday, get yourself on Snap and pick up their Black Friday sale bundle. So, and it's only available for 2 days, just like Black Friday sales, guys. So make sure you pick it up. This is definitely well worth the currency. That's the only one I had because we went over all the other ones and they didn't go into December yet. So we are at the time for the weekly top 5, and I have 2 for you today. I have a top 5 and a top 10. So we're going to go through the top 5 first, and that is the top 5 Daredevil villains, the top 5 Daredevil villains. Now, you can put these in order any way you want to, but these are just my personal top 5. So Kingpin is probably everyone's number 1 Daredevil villain. And he's mine too. And you got to love the Hawaiian shirt for the big guy, right? Hawaiian shirt. I mean, look at the hair on his arms. I mean, he's got that wine glass in his hand. Now that guy's is a champagne glass. This goes to show you how immense they make the Kingpin, right? His hands are holding that like he's holding a toothpick. That champagne glass looks like it's in his hand like a toothpick. It looks like as if he, his hands and his arms are even too big for his head. But my God, this man is gigantic. This man is just gigantic. But he's got a ring. How the hell does he get a ring for his finger? Now he's wearing it on his pinky, but how the hell does he get a pinky ring to fit him? I mean, size what? 23 ring finger? I don't know. And even his cell phone. Look at the cell phone he's using. It's gold, number 1. It's a flip phone, number 2. But he's using a cell phone, and he has that gripped by 2 fingers as well, right? 2 fingers and maybe his thumb. I can't see. But this guy is just huge, dude. White pants, Hawaiian shirt. I mean, who doesn't love the Kingpin? He's back in Daredevil Comics right now, by the way, in a storyline where he's possessed by a demon. Like, you have to make him any stronger than he already is. But, oh, my gosh. I mean, the ring is probably a necklace. He probably is. You're probably right, Nick. It probably is a necklace. I don't doubt it. Like, my God. But anyway, and the watch, too. Like, the watch has to be an extra, I don't even know. A super large watch. I have no idea, but it's got to be something along those lines. But Kingpin, of course, is my number 1 on the list. We're going to go backwards. Number 2 is Elektra. She's such an underused card. Please, second dinner, do something with this card. I so want to play Elektra. I love her character. In Frank Miller's Daredevil, she was amazing. In the Daredevil series, she was awesome. I love this character, and she is such an important part of Daredevil, and I want to see this card played, man. Make her something else. I don't know. People said maybe make her kill off twos. They don't want to touch it because of that whole thing where she's an early series card, but my God, just do something with this card so people can actually play it. I love this character. Love it. And I'm sure, I don't know whether they ever slated to be back for the next series, but I hope so, because I love Elektra. Even in the Ben Affleck Daredevil, which many people don't like, but I kind of watch it now because it's campy and stuff. But even in there, Jennifer Garner, I thought, did pretty well with her character also. So I love this character, and I want to see it played more. So do something with this. Make this a buff at some point in time, because we need this, and we need this in our decks. We need Elektra to be in some decks. So she is the number 2 and a big part of the Daredevil comics. Number 3, the Punisher. Frank Castle, man, what can I say? All I could say is whenever I see Frank Castle anywhere, I kind of cry a little. I shed a tear. And the reason being is because I owned the first appearance of the Punisher. I had it. It was in my possession. Spider-Man. It was a Spider-Man book. I can remember it. It had a yellow cover. Punisher had Spider-Man in a bullseye. I owned it. My mom got rid of it. I'm getting verklempt. I had it. My mom, it was in the pile of comics that went away, that were given away when I went to college. Along with the death of Gwen Stacy. Oh my God. My childhood just washed away. But Frank is amazing. Look, all the Punisher films we got, okay? I've liked them all for one reason or another. The Thomas Jane one is so goofy, I know. John Travolta in it was not great. He was a very campy villain. The stuff that he would do, right, was definitely not Punisher stuff. Like, this was not R-rated Punisher. I mean, he's hitting a guy with a popsicle, making him think that he's freezing him to death. It was goofy, right? But I like Thomas Jane as Punisher. And I will tell you this. The movie notwithstanding, he did a YouTube video some time ago. It was after the he did it for a friend of his, I think, who directed a little mini movie, and he came back as Punisher in this. Oh my God. It made me want him back as Punisher so badly. I forget the name of this, the title of it, but just look up Punisher video, Thomas Jane on YouTube, and you'll find it. If you haven't watched it, holy, like the guy who played Hellboy, Ron Perlman, was in it as a guy who owned a liquor store. And basically what happened was the Punisher van is outside. He's sitting in the van, and he takes his laundry in to do his laundry, and then he leaves. And these guys come in to rob the liquor store. He sees a robbery happening, and then he just go, holy cow, dude. Like, these guys are coming out of liquor. He takes a wine bottle and whips it at the one guy, smashes it off his head. I mean, gory, bloody, exactly what you would expect from a Punisher film. That would have been what they could have done with Thomas Jane as Punisher if they were allowed to do rated R back then. And they weren't. This was, you had Dolph Lundgren. Anyone remember the Dolph Lundgren Punisher, where he rode the motorcycle through the sewers back in the day? That was a made-for-TV film. He fought a bunch of ninjas. Might have been The Hand. I don't know. I don't remember that well. But that one is, Dolph Lundgren was, the guilty will be punished. That was his favorite line from the movie. But, I mean, that was even goofy in its own right, too. And then the other one that came out, I forget who. Oh, the guy he was in Thor. Oh man, he passed away recently too. I can't remember the actor's name. He was in most recently he was in the Ahsoka series as one of the Dark Jedi. But his name escapes. Stevenson, Ray Stevenson. Yes, he played Punisher. I enjoyed that one. I thought that was cool as hell. He had that big. All those people waiting for him in that hotel building, this big trap they set for him at the end, and he just goes nuts and kills everybody. That was even a little closer to the comics because he had his sidekick in there that drove the van and stuff. He had Jigsaw was in it at the very end. I even like that one. I didn't mind that one either. But the best of them was definitely the Netflix Punisher. And that, of course, with the actor who played Shane on Walking Dead. And he was in both. He was in a season of Daredevil. Then, of course, he had his own series, which lasted 2 seasons. And now he's coming back as the role again in the end. If you saw the trailer, you see his big beard. He's in jail. But it looks like he's going to have another role in the upcoming Daredevil series. So, Punisher is just awesome. Card's not great, but he's really good in ongoing decks. But other than that, not really played much. Echo. If you didn't see the Echo series, very good. Very fun watch. She is more recent in the Daredevil lore, but now they were villains, but then they became lovers. They became intimate after a little while in the books. But she, of course, if you want to watch her origin story, I would definitely tell you to check out the series that is on Disney Plus. It wasn't stellar, but Kingpin's in it too, which made it a little bit better. But she and Daredevil were very, very big enemies, and they're very similar in character. She is deaf, so she, of course, Daredevil blind, she being deaf, I thought her story was good. I've read a few issues of her in the comic books, and I did enjoy the series. So not maybe necessarily a villain of his anymore, but at the time when she first debuted in the comics was very, very, very good villain in the comics, and fought him to standstills in many of those issues. So, all right. And then last but not least, well, I had to put this up, right? There she is in all her glory. The new Typhoid Mary from Pandart that came out yesterday. The reactions to this were hilarious. All I could say is my Twitter was full of wows, and not even just the people were posting this prior to me even buying the card. But look, Typhoid Mary has been a Daredevil villain for a long, long time. In fact, I had to post on Twitter because a lot of people, I don't think really, people don't necessarily play her very much. And I didn't think people really knew what she was or who she was or where she was from as far as the comic books go. So I put a little PSA thing out there and I said, did you know she married the Kingpin in the comics? She did. She was married to Kingpin in the comic books and might still be, as far as I know. I think they might still be married. She also, she's one of Daredevil's biggest enemies. She's psychotic. She's got like a split personality. So she's absolutely psychotic. And Alice Eve played her in the Iron Fist Netflix series. So if you didn't watch Iron Fist or didn't watch all those Netflix series, she is in season 2 of Iron Fist, which, yes, he did get a season 2. I know it didn't go over very well the very first season. The season 2 is actually a little better. But he is coming back. That same actor is coming back to play him again in Shang-Chi 2. So Alice Eve did play her and kind of slowly throughout the series turning into Typhoid Mary with the schizophrenia and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, she has been in some series. She has been in a lot of Daredevil books. Some of the artistry, she's had very curly red hair. The fishnet stockings have always been the thing. She's always worn them. A lot of times she wears less, and I will show you right there. There's her she always has the half face, like the clown, like one side white, one side not. She has, and then of course the curly hair. And then, she's got like a half shirt on, and then the leotards, and then of course the fishnet stocking. So it's always been, she's always had that same look. She is, for lack of a better term, a very sexual character. She was created that way, and that's how she has been through the books. So when you saw this, wouldn't have been so surprised if you had read Typhoid Mary comics, because she's kind of always been this way. But she is a very deadly villain. Because she could act like she's on your side one time, and then all of a sudden she could snap and she could go the other way. And with Kingpin, they're a very volatile couple, because Kingpin is similar, right? He can be very, very low key and very like subdued, and the next thing you know, he snaps. And she's the same way. So, but a very, very deadly villain of Daredevil is this Typhoid Mary. So yeah. All right. So they are my top 5 Typhoid Mary, Echo, the Punisher, Elektra, and number 1 is Kingpin of the Daredevil villains in Snap. Okay, I'm moving on. I've got a top 10 Halloween candy, baby, and anybody who's out there listening, play along, and I know I'm going to read some of the other responses I got to. This is my top 10 favorite types of Halloween candy that I received as a kid or even still today as an adult. So I'm going to get into it because now I did ask some people on Twitter what their favorite go-to candies are. So I'll read those off real quickly. First, we got the Red-Eyed Jedi says anything Reese's and Skittles, but only the red and purple ones, LOL. And anyone that gave out fruit or Bibles got egged the next year. Bibles? I never got a Bible. I got fruit. I got a lot of apples. I'll talk about that. My brother and I were terrible children, LOL. Good Dog Gamer says Reese's, number 1%. And YBL Luis Cervantes says Kit Kats. Yes, Kit Kats are very, very good. Kit Kat, I had somebody in work bring Kit Kats when they went to overseas to China and Japan. You should see the flavors they have there. They had green tea Kit Kats. They had strawberry Kit Kats. They have like so many mocha Kit Kats. So many different flavor Kit Kats that they have overseas that we never see over here. We just suck for candy over here. And I'm going to read a few more of them that I got as responses. Let me see where they are here really quickly. Just give me a sec. Yeah, so I've got some here too. I've got these are all just mutual friends of mine out on the Twitter. I've got Michael says Reese's Cups, a lot of Reese's. Lauren Whatever says Twix. I've got let's see. Snap Variants says, as a child, was malted milk balls. As an adult, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. As a parent, Tootsie Rolls because they're plentiful and my kids don't like them. That's a good one. That's a good one. Hunter says Mars Bars. Okay, that's an oldie but a goodie. Let's see. I have Milky Ways here. Adam Star Snaplore, who's been on my show a bunch of times, awesome. Three Musketeers. Talking about Three Musketeers, originally smaller bars in one package. That could be. And Benjamin Roller, of course, will be back on my show. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups were my preferred Halloween candy. Overall, it's sour Skittles. But I've never received anyone trick-or-treating. And Jerome says Reese's Peanut Butter Cups for me too. A lot of Reese's Cups, man. A lot of Reese's Cups out there. Let me see if I got any in chat. Cozy and Alex did do this. That's where I got the thing from. Yeah, that's where I got it from, Nick. I watched theirs. I'm like, I got to do this. And the reason I'm doing it is because I know a lot of my candy is going to be old and outdated and not even around anymore. Some of the ones that I picked. So we'll shout it out, man. Let me know what your favorite is in the chat. All right, so here we go. Ready? I have a whatchamacallit bar. The whatchamacallit bar has always been one of my favorite candy bars. And they even came out with a recent one called the Thingamajig, I think it is. Or they came out with another one that matched this, and it almost has the same ingredients. But yeah, this is one of my favorite candy bars. You'll notice something about my favorite candy too, in that a lot of it is made by Hershey. I used to go, remember, I'm only about maybe an hour from Hershey Park in Pennsylvania, where the chocolate factory actually is. So I've been there many, many, many times and got introduced to a lot of their candy and new candy bars and stuff like that when I would go to the chocolate factory and when I would go to the park. So a lot of my favorites are going to be made by Hershey's. Growing up, we had a lot of it. So yeah, the whatchamacallit bar, it is milk chocolate, peanut butter flavored crisps and caramel. So it's basically milk chocolate around, and then you have the peanut flavored crisps in the middle, and you have caramel on top of it. So it's kind of like biting into it's like peanut butter and chocolate, but then you get the little bit of caramel on it as well. But I love these. These are so good. One of my favorite all-time candy bars. The classic Hershey bar. I still love these. I don't know what it is about Hershey's chocolate. I just love the taste of it. Some people don't. Some people don't like it at all. I think on Cozy and Alex's yesterday, Alex was like, eh. I love Hershey's chocolate. We also had at one point in time a Cadbury factory around me that used to make Cadbury bars. And of course, now you know them from the Cadbury cream eggs, which are disgusting. So disgustingly sweet. I hate them. So many people love them. They bite into the chocolate and that sweet stuff. Oh, no, too sweet. But Cadbury's chocolate, they used to just make plain chocolate bars. They make raisin chocolate bars, nut chocolate bars. I was never into it. It always kind of tastes a little bit waxy to me. But I was never that into it. But Hershey bars, I can eat all day long. I love it. And now I can't eat any of them. I can't have sweets anymore. It's so sad. I'm torturing myself doing this list. It is very, very sad that I can't eat Hershey's chocolate. I love Hershey bars, just plain. I just love plain Hershey bars. Break them up into the little bits and stuff like that. I just love them. I probably could eat them. Like if I ate one little tiny square of that off the thing, it probably wouldn't hurt me. But all right, next up. Nick said a Wonder Bar is his favorite one. Now, see, you guys probably have Nick is from the north. Nick is in Canada, so you're probably a lot like Alex, where they didn't have certain types of candy up there. Like you didn't see something. I remember Cozy was saying certain types of candy. He had no idea what they were because he never had them up in Canada. So you're probably in the same boat. Fun Dip. Oh my God, this stuff was amazing. When I was a kid, it was like crack. This came in a white package. 3 different flavors, right? So you did grape, cherry, and lime. And it was just all this was, honestly, was sugared powder. It had the grape flavoring in it and powder that was basically just sugar. And what were you eating it with? These freaking amazing sticks that were vanilla flavored, that were also all sugar. Dip it into the powder, and then you lick the powder off the stick, and then you turn your entire mouth, whatever color you happen to be eating. The lime was lousy. The lime was too sour. The cherry and the grape, the lime didn't make it. This was a 70s one right here that I'm showing you. The lime never made it because it was too sour. But I loved this as a kid. I loved it. I would never eat it the way they would tell you to. I hated. I had no patience to keep putting it in the pouches and licking it off the sticks. So I would just bite the sticks and eat the sticks because I love the sticks the best. They were vanilla flavored, and oh my God, were they good. But then I would eat the grape. I would just swallow the packets. I would just go like this and down the packets. I can remember having this when I used to play Little League baseball. We'd be sitting in the dugout. They'd be eating their gum. I'd be swallowing packets of sugar. You wonder what it must have been like when I got home from the games. I was probably wired because of all the sugar that's in this thing. They still make these. They're a Wonka candy now, as a lot of the older things have been adapted to Wonkas. But you can still get them, but they're much, much different. The sticks are a lot smaller now. They used to give you 2 sticks with the 3-pack. So it used to be this really long thing. It had the 3 packets of flavor and then the 2 sticks on the side. You used to peel the stick out and eat you. But these were awesome. Do you want to know how much I paid for these back in the day? I was lucky enough to have a candy store half a block from my house growing up, half a block from my house. I used to pay 25 cents for these. 25 cents. I could go into that candy store. You know what Swedish fish are? Well, they're still out today. They have the small ones, but back then they had larger ones and smaller ones. They used to have cherry and grape when I was growing up, and they used to have them in a big jar on the counter, and they used to get a little scoop. Like you can go into candy stores now, like fancy ones that still do that with the scoop, and you could buy it by the pound. But he used to go in and scoop them out for me. They were a penny a piece. I'd be able to get a bag of 100 Swedish fish for $1. Other stuff like candy bars, 30 cents, 25 cents. They're $1.25, $1.50, some of them $2 now. I used to get all that stuff for like dirt cheap. You know, we'd go over with $1 to the store and we'd walk out of there with like fistfuls of candy. Laffy Taffy, the long Laffy Taffy now. And so again, Wonka has that too, but they used to make a long Laffy Taffy. So big stick of taffy with all cool flavors. They had lemon, orange, fruit punch, grape, like just any flavor you could think of, cherry, raspberry, all of the flavors of that. And now they kind of just reduced them to those little snack sizes. But these are just some of the things that I had when I was growing up. And when I would go to the candy store, it was like, oh, it was so fun. We even gave the cool kids Chinese Kit Kats. We have a huge Asian. Oh, nice. Okay, so you must get some of those flavors around you then. I like the green tea ones. They were good. They were good. All right, up next, I have, again, more Hershey's. I told you there'd be a theme, the Hershey's Minis, man. This is a go-to Halloween thing. Whenever we would buy candy for Halloween, this is what we would buy to give kids. I know a lot of kids would hate the Mr. Good bar. I wasn't a huge fan of the Mr. Good bars when I would get them, so I picked those out and give them to my mom when I was a kid. But they had peanuts in them, so it was just chocolate peanuts, basically chocolate and peanuts. That's one of the ones I think that Alex said he never heard of was Mr. Good bar, but that is what it is. It's chocolate with peanuts in it. The plain Hershey bars, there's just chocolate. Crackle is like with Krispies. So Crackle is like a Nestle's Crunch, their version of a Nestle's Crunch, and the Special Dark was my favorite and still is today. That is dark chocolate. I love dark chocolate, and they were my favorites. When I would see that gold wrapper in the can, I'm like, Kimmy, and I just be like getting all that out of my basket, my candy bucket that I'd come home with. I'd be pulling those out, and that'd be the first ones I eat. I like that is semi-sweet chocolate. People do a lot of baking with it, and that's not the bitter baking one. It's the sweet one. So if you go and get like Nestle's chips at the store to put in desserts or whatever, chocolate chip cookies, that's what kind of chocolate it's made of, is the Special Dark. So yeah, Hershey had a lineup of candy bars, and now they have the cookies and cream bar, which I think is pretty good. So they haven't really made a lot throughout the years of just their regular flat candy bars. They've all been kept the same. Crackle, Mr. Good bar, regular Hershey bar, the Special Dark bar, and then the cookies and cream bar. So yeah, I love these minis. We have a bunch of them. Strawberry green tea, especially around Lunar New Year. That's awesome. Yeah, that you'll have to. I might have to give you. You'll have to send me some of those. I might have to give you some money for them. I love the green tea ones. Reese's Pieces, man. And I will agree with the Reese's crowd. I love it. I love me some Reese's, man. I love Reese's cups. I like those. I like the peanut butter eggs. The peanut butter eggs might be my favorite of the Reese's stuff. I like the Reese's sticks. I like Reese's Pieces. These, you want to know when these became famous? When the movie E.T. came out in the theaters, because that cute little alien who wasn't so cute was following the trail of Reese's Pieces snacks because he liked them. And that's how Elliot was able to capture him in his garage. Spoilers. But Reese's Pieces are awesome. Even to this day, I still like them. They're like M&Ms, but they have peanut butter in them, and they're really good. Now, I will say this. M&M has given them a run for their money because they make peanut butter M&Ms now, and they are much, much bigger and much, much thicker and much, much more peanut buttery. So I'm kind of swaying a little more to the M&M Mars. They used to be rivals. Hershey and M&M Mars, who would make M&Ms, and a lot of people thought Hershey's made M&Ms. They did not. Hershey's made their own back in the day, but then they stopped because they were getting destroyed by M&M Mars with them. But M&M Mars made Mars bars, and of course, like Milky Way and Snickers. They had a lot of stuff going for them too. But they used to be rivals with the candy. So a lot of them would come out with one, Hershey would come out with one. They don't kind of follow themselves in what they made. So, but Reese's Pieces were to combat M&Ms. And that's because but they, again, E.T. made them super popular. Everybody bought them like crazy during E.T. Next one is the Fifth Avenue bar. This is, again, Hershey chocolate. This is a peanut butter crunch bar, basically. So it's crunchy peanut butter. There was another crunchy peanut butter bar that came out back in the day. My mom used to buy them. They're called Zagnut. They had toasted coconut. If you're a fan of coconut, they still make them. They're a toasted coconut bar with peanut butter on the inside. So again, like crunchy peanut butter, like in Fifth Avenue. There was another one too. I'm trying to think of what's the other one. I can't remember now. I love these. They still have these all over the place. I can still get these from grocery stores. They're very good. Little layer of chocolate around it, but the crispiness of the peanut buttery crunch inside is very, very good. But yeah, I love these, and the peanut flavor you get from them is awesome. So this has always been one of my favorite candy bars. Love them. Sprees, man, Sprees. They have these on Cozy and Alex's show too. I love these things, man. They're sour enough, but they're not sour like Sour Patch Kids, which I can't tolerate. I don't like them. They give me heartburn. They're too sour. Even if you suck the stuff off, they're too sour for me. So, but these were good. They used to come in rolls years ago. They're still out today. They make them a lot smaller actually, because they used to come in a roll of them, and the rolls were quite bigger. But I enjoyed these too. Now they had a little sourness to them, but they weren't as sour as the Sour Patch Kids. But I like Spree. I always did. Now here comes some that do not exist at all anymore. Maybe overseas, I don't know. This one was from the 80s. It was called a Bar None. A Bar None. This had chocolate wafers, so it was like a wafer cookie, wafer bar rather. Pure milk chocolate and peanuts. I think Hershey made this too. I could be wrong about it, but this had little peanuts on the top. So again, you had the chocolate peanut butter. But yes, this came out in the I think it was early 80s, maybe middle 80s. But I love this thing. I like wafer crackers. It's kind of, think about it like a Kit Kat. It's kind of a little bit like a Kit Kat, but it's got way more chocolate to it, and then a little bit of peanuts and stuff on top. This did not sell, and so didn't last very long. But I was able to manage to get a couple of them when I was a kid, and I kind of enjoyed them. So I always like peanuts too. I can't eat them anymore, but I always like peanuts. And then another, bottle caps, dude. Now they are Wonka. They did not used to be Wonka, but they were bought by Wonka. So I love these. And you want to know why I love them? Because I love cola flavored things. Any cola flavored stuff I can get my hand on, I will. I love the flavor of cola. And I would buy these specifically because I wanted the cola ones. And you got so little of them. In a box or in a bottle, you got so little of them. Now, in the box here now, they're quite small. They used to be a lot bigger, again, when they came in the roll, just like the Sprees were. But I love these. I liked all the flavors, actually. The orange, the root beer. The root beer was my least favorite because it had that, like, I don't know, it had that tang. It had like a little bit of an aftertaste of root beer. But I do believe these changed over the years. I think the flavors changed. I know they always had cola. They always had root beer. They always had grape. I think the cherry and the orange may have changed because I do remember them being a lemon lime. There used to be a lemon lime back when I was younger. So these may have changed a little bit. The lemon lime people probably didn't like. It was a little sour, but I didn't mind it. It was supposed to be like 7-Up because they're thinking of like classic flavored sodas. They also had a birch beer. They had a birch beer flavored one too. The birch beer flavored one was kind of white looking. But I do remember that as well. And that birch beer is a very acquired taste. I like birch beer, but not a lot of people do. It's got a little kick to it, got a little bit of an aftertaste. But I always liked it. And, but that was one of the flavors as well. So I think cherry and orange may be newer. So, but I love these. The soda flavored candy, give it to me all day. I know that there are people who have it overseas. People have it a lot. I think there's a lot of it in China. I can't find the only candy I could find now that's cola flavored are the gummy cola bottles. That's it. That's all I could find. Tic Tacs years ago. Yeah, I'll tell you a funny story. Tic Tacs came out with cola flavored Tic Tacs, Coca-Cola flavored Tic Tacs. I saw that and I went ballistic. I literally was searching around for them. Well, you know, when something is announced, it doesn't come out for a little while. I was searching around for these damn things and I was going nuts. I couldn't buy them anywhere. So then one day I saw that Target had them, the Targets at Semi where I work. So I walk into the store and I'm like, hey, I see on your stock count that you have these in stock. Where are they? I was going to buy a case, like a case of the big ones. Like, you know, Tic Tacs come in big bottles and little packs. I was going to buy a case of the big ones. That's how badly I wanted these things. And the girl at the front desk told me, she said, oh, let me check. She checked it. She said, no, we don't have them. I said, well, no, what do you mean you don't have them? They say right on your thing, you have like 200 of them. Well, I mean, you have them. No, we don't. So that I literally asked to speak to a manager over candy. I asked to speak to a manager. The manager comes in and the manager looks it up. She was very nice. And I was very nice to them. I wasn't rude. So she was very nice. And she said, oh, yeah, we do have them. We have them in the back. And I said, well, could someone get them? And they're like, unfortunately, the candy guy that comes in, the person who sets all the candy displays is the one who does them. I can't open them. I'm like, oh, my God, it was torture. I went back to my store, my Best Buy, and I was telling them, they all knew it. Every single person in there that worked with me knew I wanted these freaking Tic Tacs so badly. And then finally the next day they put them out and I went over and I got my case of them. I had that case sitting around for like months. I finally went through them all and now you can't freaking get them anymore. They're gone. They're like limited time. Now they have Sprite ones and they're disgusting. But I love cola. If anyone has any access to cola flavored Tic Tacs, let me know on the Twitter. Send them my way. I love them. I absolutely love them. They are the best things ever. When you put them in your mouth, they tasted a little bit like. I even tried recently the cola cherry. Or was it? Yeah, no, they were cola flavored Oreo cookies. They were out for I don't know how long, if they still are. I got them in Target, and they also had an Oreo flavored Coca-Cola, a Coke Zero, Oreo flavored Coke Zero. That I can't have because I can't have soda anymore. People told me it wasn't too good. They said it tasted had a little bit of a. See, I don't want chocolate soda. That's gross. My wife loves chocolate soda. Never liked Yoo-hoo, any of that stuff. So, but yeah, the chocolate Oreo or the Oreos taste honestly when you cracked them open, they smelled like cola. They smelled like a bottle of Coke. And when you ate it, they had little fizzy candies built into them. So they were kind of like Pop Rocky. And like Pop Rocks, they had them built into the cookie. And they a little bit, so it almost like it fizzed in your mouth. They were very good, but they were dangerous. And I couldn't eat a lot of them because I didn't want to make myself sick eating too much sugar. All right, moving on. Another one that doesn't exist, folks. This is a Summit bar. And again, you could tell I like these cookie kind of things, like these crunch kind of bars. This was an 80s candy bar. Didn't last long. Chocolate covered. It was basically kind of like a little like a Twix bar. You had some crunchies in there. You had some peanut butter in there. You had some caramel in there, and then chocolate over the top. But this did not last long at all. But I love these things. They were kind of light as well because they had the cookie, like the cracker kind of crunch. So they were kind of light. They weren't a very heavy candy bar. And then the Crispies in there as well, the peanut butter Crispies. But I love this thing. Who remembers Summit bars? You probably have to be as old as me because they didn't last very long. So, all right. That's it, guys. That is my Halloween candy list. My top 10 favorite Halloween candy bars. Let me know out there if you're watching this in the comments, wherever it may be, on Spotify, on Apple, whatever, or on the YouTube page, or on Twitch. Let me know, what are your favorite bars that you got put in your candy bag? And I have one last little story concerning the Halloween thing, and we'll move on to Comics Corner. I'll tell you a little story about going Halloweening. We used to call it Halloweening. We're going Halloweening. Used to call Halloween as a kid. And I'll tell you a little story about when I would go for Halloween. The costumes back in our day were made by a gentleman called Ben Cooper. Ben Cooper. Now, Ben Cooper costumes were in a box. They had the rights to literally everything, right? Because it wasn't as crazy as it is today with getting rights to things. So they would make costumes out of all the classic toys. You know, you had your Barbie and your strawberry shortcake and all that kind of stuff for girls. For guys, you had superheroes, Spider-Man, Hulk, Captain America, all of them. You had those. Star Wars. When Star Wars came out, you had Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Princess Leia. These were the comics that all the kids had. If you didn't have a Ben Cooper costume when you were a kid, you were the outside. You know, if your parents made you a homemade one, that was not good enough, man. For me, when I was growing up, you would have a Ben Cooper costume or you got made fun of. Now, the Ben Cooper costumes came with I have a Darth Vader one still. I had to get one recently. They came out with replica ones, and I had to get it just for old time's sake. They had a plastic mask. So, of course, the mask was a rubber band that would go over your face. And then in the box, they had a plastic. Now, when I'm saying this is plastic, I'm not exaggerating. A straight plastic little overlay that you would put over your chest, and it would go over your arms. So like a little shirt, basically, that was completely made of plastic that you would tie behind your neck, and it would have a picture of the character on the front. So the Spider-Man one was like yellowy, and then it had a web. So you had a spider web on the front, and it would have the spider logo. And then on the back, it had a big picture of Spider-Man on the back. The Darth Vader one, they weren't necessarily made to look like their own costumes, right? Because Darth Vader one would have the chest piece. Didn't have that. It had a big picture of Darth Vader on the front. And all the other ones. But the masks, let me tell you, were terrifying. Terrifying. The Hulk was just this blob of a green face. Had the short haircut, probably from the 60s, like comics and cartoons. And just this big fat green, like he looked like a cave troll. Strawberry shortcake, like the girls' ones were even more terrifying. Like these things were just terrifying. Leia, oh my God, like her face was like blown out, like terrifying. And look up Ben Cooper costumes, you'll see what I mean. The worst part about them is the plastic over your, because it was cold. Like it's end of October, you're going out trick or treating. Most of the time, it's fall, but like it's not like it is today. Fall is like we're getting temperatures in the 80s this week. That was not the case. We were lucky if it wasn't 20 degrees. The end of October was usually getting closer to winter, and we were getting cold temps. So you'd have to go out a lot of times dressed in heavy like jeans and sneakers, and of course sometimes you'd have an undershirt on, and then a shirt, and then your little thing, your costume, because and then your parents would make you wear a jacket. So all of the layers, plus this plastic thing. By the time you got home, that plastic thing was layered with sweat. And let me tell you, you stunk. That plastic sweat was disgusting. You couldn't keep the costume. You could not keep it. You had to throw it in the garbage because it reeked so bad of sweat and plastic. Like it was the most disgusting thing ever. And anybody who knows this, I know Adam Snappler, if he's listening, knows what I'm talking about. You all know, and now they're making them like as retro things, and they're a little bit better made. But oh dear God, and that was the costumes that these kids wore. So many times you're going around with a group, and when you get into the house, right? Because again, when I was growing up, you just didn't go knock on the door and get candy. No. You had to sing a song to get candy. You had to say something. You had to say the trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. You had to say something or sing something, or else these old people wouldn't give you squat. They wouldn't give you candy, wouldn't give you bupkis unless you did something for them. So that's the kind of torture you went through. So not only did you have to wait for the other kids going in and out the doors, but then you'd have to go in, you'd have to do something and perform for your candy like a clown. And so you would get all of, and so then you're in the house. So they have the heat cranked up. You go in old people's house, the heat's always cranked up. You go inside, you're in there sweating, right? You're sweating, and then you stink. And it's like, it made it a chore. And then at the end of the night, you got your bounty, right? Now, my father, when he took me, would be great, because we literally go to every house in town. It was so much fun then, because we knew everybody, right? We lived in a little town. We knew everybody, all our neighbors. The people who we didn't know, we didn't go to. But the people who we knew, we went to everybody. You'd come home, honest to God, like my baskets, I didn't have a bucket. I had a basket, like an Easter basket. That thing would be full to the brim by the time I get back. Now, when you get home, right, it's usually around 9 o'clock. So for a younger kid, that's about bedtime, right? So the torture was I'd walk in, I'd have all this candy. My mom would go, one piece. I'm like, oh my God, one piece of candy I was allowed, because we couldn't eat it because I had to go to bed, right? So then you're looking through. And then a few years later, when we started getting those, the scare, right? The 80s scare of Halloween, when people were putting, there was this big old article that came out somewhere in some newspaper, I don't know, how someone ate a needle. Right, there was a needle stuck in something, and more than likely it was probably in a piece of fruit, because you used to get apples and stuff that people would give you too. So more than likely, some nut was putting like sewing needles in fruit, and somebody swallowed one of these sewing needles when they ate it, and that went around like wildfire everywhere. So from that moment on, we had to get our candy checked. So not only did we want to dig into the candy, but then our parents had to go through it and check every single one, every single piece, for pinholes or look like they were open and stuff like that. And my mom was so paranoid that she'd have to throw half of it away. So half my candy went in the damn garbage because of the needle scare. That probably happened in some little town somewhere that never ever happened anywhere else. But all of a sudden, everybody was paranoid it was going to be every single place. And plus, we knew all our neighbors. So there was no way there, and none of them were going to put needles in anything. And the fruit we just threw away, because who wanted the dumb fruit anyway? If I got fruit from an old person, we just chucked it in the garbage. So, and then we get money. My old man would take me to, like, he'd go to this thing called, well, he called it the club, right? The club. Yeah, it's secret drinking spot for guys. But he would take me there sometimes, walk me down the aisle. I'd get so much money. Those guys would be giving me, like, they're probably drunk, right? They're giving me $5 bills, $10 bills. They're throwing money in my bucket. I'm like, dude, this is amazing. So I wanted to go there all the time. I made out like a bandit on Halloween, man. Then sometimes you get those popcorn balls. That was another crap. Yeah, what's some crappy stuff you get? Apples, fruit, any kind of fruit was horrible. The popcorn balls, yeah. They were little sugar popcorn balls that were in these little Halloween things. I think they still make them. You can still probably find them in Walmart. They're in like a black and red Halloween wrapper, and they're popcorn balls, and they're just like they're eating like there's a name for that. I forget the name of it. Sugar popcorn, but that was another one you never wanted. Licorice, black licorice, disgusting, gross. My mom liked it, thankfully. I hated black licorice. It's anise. Ugh, no. That whenever I got that, I'm trying to think of any candy with nuts. I didn't want like nuts, like they would give you like not what were they? Someone give you packs of peanuts, which I didn't mind that, but they would give you some like the gross like coconut candy. I hated coconut candy. No Mounds, no Almond Joy for me. Nope. Yuck. What else? They would have these caramels with nuts in them back then. They were disgusting. I don't know. My mom would eat all that stuff, thankfully. She ate all the gross junk that I would get. Chuckles candy were like little gummies with sugar on top, and they would always have a black one in there, which was anise, licorice flavored, to give right to my mom. Yuck. I hated it. So yeah, that was some of the crappy stuff you would get. But yeah, so there you go. That was Halloween back in the day. A little revisitation of Joe's Halloweens from the 1980s. Hope you enjoyed it. All right. We're going to Comics Corner, guys. That means we're here to talk about the new card. And it, of course, is Anti-Venom. Anti-Venom is, you can see right here, in Extreme Carnage Alpha #1. That is the cover, and Scream's on there too. But that is Anti-Venom in one of his covers. That's kind of a cool one. I don't know if we'll see that as a variant, of course, because Scream's in there too. Usually they don't put two characters in a variant. Anti-Venom was created when remnants of the Venom symbiote collided with Mr. Negative's healing powers. That's kind of cool. Following his terminal cancer diagnosis, Brock decided to sell the Venom symbiote on the black market. That's right. Eddie Brock got terminal cancer in the comics, and he decided to sell it on the black market and donate the proceeds to charitable causes as a way to atone for his crimes. After getting rid of the symbiote, Eddie started volunteering for Feast. Now, Feast was, in the comics, is a center that Aunt May works at. It's a charity place where they give away like food and meals and stuff like that. You saw it in the movie too, in Spider-Man 2, I think it was, where Aunt May was working there. A charity operated by Martin Lee, who secretly operated the criminal mastermind, Mr. Negative. Martin Lee owned the Feast Center, so he's kind of good by day and Mr. Negative by night, and kind of a Jekyll and Hyde there. In addition to his corrupting Dark Force powers, Lee has Light Force-based abilities that grant him considerable healing powers. Lee used these healing powers to cure Eddie's cancer, fusing Brock's white blood cells with the trace amounts of venom still in his body in the process. When the Venom symbiote tried to forcibly bond with Eddie again, Brock's body responded by covering him with the Anti-Venom symbiote in Spider-Man 1999, number 569, by Dan Slott and John Romita Jr. So they are the creators of Anti-Venom. The symbiote has many of the same powers as Venom, like they all do. Super strength, shape-shifting, prehensile tendrils that allow it to web sling. However, Anti-Venom has several unique abilities, including the power to repel other symbiotes. So he turns symbiotes away, basically. Unlike the Venom symbiote, the original Anti-Venom symbiote does not have a mind of its own, but it can detect illnesses or toxins within people and heal them. So it's a healing symbiote. Ever since Anti-Venom tried to use this power on Peter Parker, the symbiote also interferes with Spider-Man's abilities whenever they're near each other. So this is essentially a good symbiote, but Peter can't be near him to kind of fight alongside of him. There's another cool cover. This is from a book called New Ways to Die, Book 3. And you can see Slott and Romita Jr. So this is where he appeared. This is the first appearance of Anti-Venom. And you can see the cover on the front. I love the art. The Romita Jr. art's always awesome. And Dan Slott's one of my favorites for Spider-Man. This would be an amazing variant to have. But again, I don't know if they'll do it because you're seeing that the Anti-Venom and the Venom symbiote are fighting each other. And of course, Spider-Man trying to pry them apart here. This is from 1999, and it's number 570. If you want to look it up and you want to give it a read, that is where to find it. All right. Another comic book cover. Now, this is from Spider Island, also in 1999. This is issue number 670, and you can see him on the cover of this as well. J. Jonah Jameson's there, along with the Jackal, the Thing, Madam Web. That's the Julia Carpenter version. Shocker, Spider-Woman. And down in the far corner, I want to say is Mr. Fantastic in his white outfit, and then you also have Anti-Venom in that book as well. And then you had Agent Anti-Venom. While Brock went on to merge with other symbiotes, Flash Thompson, a war hero and Peter Parker's old friend, became the host of the new Anti-Venom symbiote. After the Venom symbiote left Brock, it ended up bonding with Flash and turned him into Agent Venom, a government-sponsored hero who joined the Avengers and the Guardians of the Galaxy. Despite losing the Venom symbiote, Flash became the new Anti-Venom in Amazing Spider-Man Venom Inc. Alpha 2017 #1. So that's when Flash Thompson becomes him, by Dan Slott, Mike Costa, and Ryan Stegman. During a confrontation with Spider-Man and Eddie Brock over who would bond with Venom next, Flash was doused in a vat of anti-venom chemicals that Alchemax was developing to stop symbiotes. However, the anti-venom serum reacted with the trace amounts of the Venom symbiote in Flash's body, turning him into new anti-venom with a white costume similar to the one he wore as Agent Venom. That's the one we're getting the card of. Anti-Agent Venom was instrumental in taking down the symbiote maniac and his criminal host, Lee Price. So that is the one we're getting the card of. He also had a return. Flash Thompson died. Part of him lived on within the symbiote hive mind, which houses the consciousness of former symbiote hosts. When the Venom symbiote absorbed a sample of Flash's blood, Flash could even take some control over the symbiote, which had bonded to Eddie Brock again. When Null, the creator of the symbiotes, attacked Earth in King in Black, Flash's spirit found the recently deceased Eddie and freed several symbiotes that Null had captured inside the hive mind. After bonding to one of the symbiotes within the hive, Flash emerged back on Earth as giant anti-venom symbiote Dragon in Venom 2018 by Donny Cates and Ivan Coelho. At Brock's urging, Flash flew to his gravesite and used the symbiote Dragon to reanimate his human body in Venom 2018. And there's another cool one there. You can see Anti-Venom kind of spawning under the Carnage symbiote there on the cover, which is really cool. This is a more recent book. This came out in 2023, and that is Carnage #1. Carnage #1. All right. That is really it for him. I mean, that's essentially what he is in a nutshell. I haven't read tons of books, like I've told you before many times this month. I haven't read tons of symbiote books. I do remember the story of the one they were talking about where Flash Thompson returned as the white-covered anti-venom. That is the one I remember the most because I remember reading those books. But we're going to talk about the card next. And here he is, Anti-Venom. He is a 4/7. That is the one that I was talking about. That is the Eddie Brock returning, or that is the Agent Venom one, the Flash Thompson one. On reveal, set the cost and power to your deck's top card to 0. Now, I don't know what to make of this card, because you can completely whiff and strike out with this, where it picks up something. Now, a lot of people are saying we'll use Howard the Duck. Some others, though, have been saying use Luke Cage. Now, if you lose Luke Cage in your deck, then his power will not, the power of the card will not change. So if you get if you get a Tribunal out, the Tribunal will stay 0, but will be a 9 because of Luke Cage. So I did see, I think it was Gregor yesterday who posted that he has a Tribunal deck ready to go. Might not be a bad idea with this card, because you're going to get something in there for a 0, whether it be, and Tribunal decks can use Luke Cage as well. But you're going to get something in there as a 0. Imagine getting a 0 Iron Man, or getting a 0 Tribunal, or getting a 0 Onslaught. You're going to get something as a 0 that you're probably really going to need. As far as anything else, I really don't know where he would fit, or where he wouldn't fit, because he technically, I mean, you can play a card that, and if you're playing him with Luke, you're going to get a 0 cost card. It's just not going to matter. It's not going to really matter what deck you put him in. You're going to get a 0 cost card. So you know, it's just going to be like, what are the decks going to look like where this is going to fit in? What kind of decks is it going to play? Are people going to try to do wombo combos and play like a Wong deck? Are you going to try to play a Wong deck? I mean, there's so many things this could go into. That could end up being. I think they were talking about this on Lambie and Cam's stream, 8 Cubes yesterday, saying, could this be a meta stopper? This card, could this stop the bounce meta? I don't know. There are just so many ifs, ands, and buts about this question that I don't know how to answer it. I don't know whether this is going to be a good card or not. I'm going to get it. I get every card, so I'm going to get it. I just don't know where this card fits in. I don't know what he's going to be best at. So what I would tell you, this is a definite wait and see for me, for you, for if you don't have the tickets and don't have the tokens. I definitely wouldn't spend tokens on this. Definitely wouldn't. But if you don't have the caches to open that you want to, and if you want to try to save up, maybe for some of the Thor cards that are coming out, I don't think I would chance this until I saw some of the creators playing with the cards today, and wait until later in the week to decide whether or not he's good. I would hang on with it and wait, because I think most people have given this like around the middle of the pack. I didn't rate this high. I gave it like a 3, I think, out of 6 or 3 out of 5, whatever it was. I think I rated him in the middle because I don't know how to rate him. I don't know what to make of him and what to rate him as. So that said, wait on it, I think, would be the best thing to do, and just see if somebody figures out a way to break it, and just wait on it and see. That's what I would probably tell you to do. It's a very strange card. We don't have anything. We haven't had anything really like this, where it sets the power and the cost of something to 0. So yeah, I would just say this. If you're going to get it, make sure Luke Cage is in the deck. Make sure Luke Cage is in the deck. That's all I'd tell you. I mean, could he go into a Pixie deck? I don't know if that would work. Probably not, because she's going to hit him. No, because it's on reveal. So no, that wouldn't work. But yeah, I mean, the stat line is decent. They did buff it. It was a 4.6. So he's a 4.7. But I don't know. I don't know what the answer is going to be for this card. I don't know. Let's look at the there's the variants. The left and the right. That's pretty cool. And then you can see here the Spotlight Cache. You have, of course, Anti-Venom, Super Giant. This is not a great Spotlight Cache, guys. It's not great. Super Giant just doesn't see play. Does not see play. So not a good card to grab right now. I know I had it in that deck that Browday did earlier. It's not a great card to play. And I think a lot of people still don't know how to use it. It's a confusing card as to what happens when. And I think a lot of people don't know how to use it. So it's not a great Spotlight Cache. And Ghost Spider, very niche. She's used in Move. And that's about it. She's used in Move and Phoenix Force. So if you're not playing Move or Phoenix Force, it's not a very good Spotlight Cache at all. So I'm not thrilled by it either. I already have a second. I have a Super Giant variant. I don't use the card, and I have a bunch of Ghost Spiders. So, and I don't use that card either. So I'm not. I hope I manage to get lucky and I maybe 1 key it, which I'm hoping for. I don't want to go to the 4 keys this week, especially with this. So I'm hoping that that's the case. But all right, so that is the new card. That is Comics Corner. And we only have 1 segment of the show left to go, and that is the MCU Minutes. The MCU Minute, and oh my God, do I have an MCU Minute for you guys today. Agatha Harkness, Agatha All Along, the finale is tomorrow. The 2-part finale is tomorrow, and I can't wait to see what comes of the finale. This has been absolutely amazing. And I am going to show you. So if you have not watched it, which shame on you, but if you haven't watched it, I'm going to spoil a huge, huge reveal. So spoilers. I'm going to spoil it right now. Good Lord, Lady Death is in the MCU. I knew this from the start. I knew it from the start, even before I saw the Funko Pops, because the Funko things were revealed and a lot of people got spoiled because of the Funko Pops revealing both her and Billy as Wiccan. But I knew when I saw the first episode of this and Aubrey Plaza was playing Rio. I know from the comics that Rio, first of all, was male. Now, not that they can't change that, but I also know that Rio was an Irish warlock in the comics. I knew that was not going to be her. I knew it. And then as it went along, I'm like, oh my God, she's Lady Death. I have wanted to see Lady Death in a film since the Infinity Gauntlet thing. I was so pissed that they did not have Lady Death in that. I was waiting to see her even in the first tease when Thanos turns around and smiles after the Avengers. I have been waiting for Lady Death in the MCU forever. And look at that face, the creepy smile on her and the bone. Oh my God, is that amazing? The skeletal smile. Holy, that is creepy AF. Man, I cannot wait. She better be in future films as this character. They wouldn't say, they probably can't say, or they probably just don't know yet. But she better be. If Thanos comes back for Secret Wars, which is a very good chance he may, or he should, and Josh Brolin was kind of, making little hints that he would. He's in it, so he should. She better be there. She'd better be there because I want to see the Thanos death interaction, man. I want to see it. So what a choice of people. And I'm sure she's going to be in these last 2 episodes too. What a choice to play Lady Death, Aubrey Plaza. I am absolutely thrilled with this. She looks phenomenal. Phenomenal, man. Oh my gosh. One of my favorite Marvel entities, whatever you want to call her. I was sitting there and I was watching them do the little tarot thing on the tables, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, they're going to reveal it. They're going to reveal it. They're going to reveal it. And when they go through all the last cards and they come to death, I'm like, ah, and I'm watching it and it's like, and I'm sitting in my chair like, yes, this is amazing. Oh my God. What a reveal. We've had Wiccan and now we have Lady Death revealed in Agatha all along. If you guys didn't watch it, now you must go and watch. This has been awesome. And I can't wait for tomorrow to come home and watch the other 2 episodes, because this has been tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. There she is again. I mean, look at that. She's got the knife in one hand. I don't even know what the hell is in the other hand. I don't know what that is. It's like, it's something. It's some kind of, I don't know what that is. It looks like a kind of, it almost looks like a weapon, like blades or something. I don't know what that is, but good God, man. The belt, the what she has on, the cape, the crown, that dagger. Oh my God. Amazing. Marvel, bravo. First of all, bravo for using her, because I know that people asked, okay, about why they had asked someone. I don't know if it's Kevin Feige, but they had asked someone why she wasn't in Infinity Gauntlet. She's such a big part of it. And a lot of the answers were, well, we didn't know whether or not they'd buy into an entity, or the visage of death being in like leading Thanos around. We didn't think they would buy into that. And we didn't think they would get it because they didn't really know where it came from or didn't read the book and get that. And I guess I get it. A friend of mine said, imagine like having kids go into the movie that don't read the books, that maybe just watch the Disney Plus stuff and just see the films. They wouldn't have known where death came from or why Thanos was motivated by death. And I get that. But holy cow, did we get that here? And I am thrilled that she is now in the MCU. Just thrilled. And there's the death card, man. So good. And look at that is the death card. Okay. I didn't realize it until I looked at that up close. That is her outlining the death card. So that thing that she's got in her hand there and the knife in the other, that is exactly her. mimicking are dressed up just like the Death card. Oh, that's beautiful. I didn't even realize it until now. That's awesome. So good. So good. But there's the Death card that she, of course, she revealed there. And there's the colorized version. I mean, look at this. The black veil. Look at that face, dude. There's like black makeup underneath it. I think that's trying to appear like it's holes in her face. And then the shrouded eyes, so she looks just like a skull. And then she's got the oh my God. They really outdid themselves. It is fantastic. That could be makeup. That could just be all makeup. She might have like a ring over her nose to simulate that it looks like, and have black paint under there. I've seen some pictures painted like this, and some people dress like this at Mardi Gras when they dress up like Death. They do that. They paint their nose black. They have a ring over the nose, so it makes it look like it's a bone, and then they paint the smile on top of their mouth, and then they put black over here to make it look like it's bone. And it looks like your face is a 3D skeleton, which that could be what that is. That could be exactly what that is. And that looks ill. It looks so creepy and good. So good, man. She's fantastic in this role. Fantastic. All right, we're moving on. These were announced. So we already know that Spider-Man 4 is coming. That was confirmed by Tom Holland. And another project could be Blade or another mystery project. Now, Blade goes from being canceled to back on, canceled to back on, canceled to back on. I will tell you this, as of yesterday, they are saying Blade is not canceled. 2 days ago it was canceled, and now it is not. So one of the mystery projects they're talking about here are the projects that are going to be held between Doomsday and Secret War. Those have to be basically in other universes. So Battle World in the Secret War is the world where all the heroes went to kind of fight each other in the original 80s one. But Battle World in the one in 2015, which I think this is going to follow more, is basically a whole bunch of universes getting ripped up and stuck on one big planet. So I think Blade would fit into that better, because now you could have almost like a monster type world for him, where he could have like creatures that maybe could be where they're going to have him team up with, because there were rumors about this, where he would team up with the Midnight Suns. They were talking about adding Werewolf by Night to that, and Man-Thing, oh my God, to that, and others. May have Morbius in there as well. You could have other, well, no, because that's still with Sony. But anyway, so it says clearly there's rumor plans from a while back about a whole wave of Battle World projects have been scaled back. As according to Rickman, now this Rickman guy is pretty good with his rumors. Marvel Studios is eager to end the multiverse saga as soon as possible. So they're not going to put as many films between now that they were saying. They were saying there could have been a bunch of films at first between Doomsday and Secret War. Well, that's not going to be the case. Spider-Man 4 definitely is, but now they're saying there might just be one or two others in between the two films. So there might not be a whole bunch anymore. The Scooper has also shared intel about Marvel Animation, working on an animated CG series set in the MCU, which won't be released until after What If Season 3 and Eyes of Wakanda, which are both animated series that are coming up next year. There are also rumblings that Marvel Studios has at least discussed Spider-Man 98 after the success of X-Men 97. Yes. Loved Spider-Man 97. We obviously saw Peter and MJ at the end of X-Men 97, so why the hell not? Bring it, man. Bring it. Loved Spider-Man 97. Bring it. Now that they have the rights to do these, let's go. I love it all, man. Have them cross over, bring Spider-Man in, have a series of that. I'm all for it. The animated stuff has been great. People have liked X-Men 97 more than many of the other series on Disney Plus recently. So, yeah, let's go. Let's go. I love it if that happened. And then we have this. This is from Scarlet Witch Updates. Jack Schaefer says the Death and Agatha all along are all permanent. So anybody who's been watching the show, Death is immutable. It is permanent. With this show, we wanted to pay respect to that. So this is a more earnest and grave conversation about death than maybe you would find in another superhero project. So the other witches who have passed on are all dead. They are literally all dead because, again, with the inclusion of Death, she is there to get the souls. That's her purpose. She is there to take their souls of these women, these witches that are dying. So the deaths are all permanent of these witches in the show. So Agatha All Along episode 7 reveals that Aubrey Plaza's Rio Vidal is indeed Death, the original Green Witch. Following this confirmation, there has been considerable fan speculation over whether Agatha All Along will establish a connection between Death and Thanos in the MCU. Jack Schaefer, the creator and showrunner of Disney Plus of the series, gave an update on the theory in a recent review. He has no answers. So he gave an update. I don't know for Death and Thanos connections in Agatha All Along. So he has no answers for that. So obviously there probably won't be any in Agatha, but you never know. Maybe there may be some little sneak peek as to something going forward. But I think that Agatha All Along is supposed to lead into Vision Quest, which is the next series that's coming out. So I don't know if it's going to necessarily lead into Secret War, but I can bet you. He doesn't know because he's not sure yet, but I can bet you if they bring Thanos back, she's going to be there. I'll bet you she will. So Schaefer stated in a new interview that she had no answers for the Thanos stands on the romantic prospects of their favorite character in the MCU, notably in the comics. Thanos is enamored with Death, the cosmic entity that is the personification of death. His primary objective behind wiping out half of the universe's population in Marvel Comics' Infinity Gauntlet storyline is demonstrating his love for the cosmic being. The MCU drastically altered this, establishing that Thanos wanted to destroy half of all life in the universe in an attempt to create universal stability. So they changed the whole thing. While speaking to Inverse, Schaefer clarified that Thanos wasn't part of Agatha all along. Thanos is not on my show. So I'm sorry, it's a she. It's Schaefer's a she. My bad. Thanos is not in my show, so I can't speak to any Thanos connections. She said, Thanos stands out there. I have no answers for you. So people want to see it, but she just doesn't know because Thanos obviously wasn't a part of it. All right, guys, that is going to do it. That is it for this episode of Snap Decisions. Thank you so much for joining me. If you came to the Twitch and joined me from there, appreciate you. I hope you followed me on there as well. And thank you to those who watched on YouTube or who came out and watched while everything was going on the YouTube or are going to watch on YouTube. Also, thank you to those who are going to listen on any of the audio formats, whether it be Spotify or Apple Music or any of the other pods that are out there. It does get distributed to all of them. If you are listening on Apple, I would ask you to kindly rate the podcast. It really helps it get seen. Please do that. Take the time, if you don't mind, to just go there and rate the podcast for me. Also, leave me some comments. You can do that on Spotify now as well. And I always will check them out. I will always respond to them if I can. What else do we got going on? Remember, like I said, this next week will be definitely streaming on my Twitter. I just have to pay that $11 to X, which I hate to do, but whatever. I did forget about that today, that you do have to have that in order to live stream. So I'll definitely have that in place next week for you to live stream while I'm doing this on Twitter. Because I know a lot of you hang out on Twitter, and there's a lot of times not much going on there. And it's a different place for you to see if you don't necessarily want to sit through the YouTube ads and stuff like that. So I will definitely be live streaming on Twitter, Twitch, and also on YouTube every single week now on here going forward. And if I ever do get guests on live, I will be doing the same. Now, for the rest of this week, I don't think I'll have anything else. There's no OTAs, nothing to really report on. So I won't really have anything pod-wise. I don't think I have any guests this week coming up. I do have Fawthorne Newman, who we're kind of negotiating a day. And then, I don't really think I have anybody else in mind yet for this week. Now, coming up, guest-wise, in 2 weeks, in November, I will have the cast, the whole cast, the owners, the creators of Snap on This. Lauren Whatevs, It's Just Ree, and Benjamin Roller will be joining me for an episode of Snap Decisions. So that's going to be great having them all on there. It's going to be like a double pod almost. And they are bringing a surprise with them. I'll just say it's one of those awesome games that they play on their podcast. They're bringing one with them in order for me to be able to play along. So that's going to be fantastic and so much fun. So remember to check that out. I will give you the exact date. It's going to be a Monday. I think it's going to be, let me look at my little calendar here. Monday, let me go into November. It's going to be Monday, either the 5th or the 12th. Should be. So, and that'll be, maybe I could try to have that one live. That might be fun to have that one live. So I might do that. So we might live stream that. So that'll be a live stream on YouTube, live stream on Twitch, live stream on Twitter as well. So check that out. I have not heard back, unfortunately, from Regis. I know he's super, super busy, so I'm not really surprised. But if I do, you can bet I will be trying to get him on the show. And I also have Red Eye Jedi, the guy who made that deck that got me to Infinite, coming on the show as well at some point soon. So be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, all I've got for you is please be kind to one another. Stay safe. Enjoy the game however you choose to enjoy it. In your last week of the season, I wish you all the luck in the world, especially if you're still trying to get to Infinite. So I hope you can make it. Keep it up. Stay steady with your deck. Don't change decks a lot, and retreat if you think you have no way to win. But I hope you get to Infinite. And listen, enjoy the game for whatever it's going to be. We got a new month coming up very soon. Don't forget to check out my Twitter for the giveaways of the 2 season passes, which I will have as well. Yeah, that is going to do it for me for this week, guys. Have a great week. Please stay safe. Like I said, be kind to one another always. And hopefully I will see you all for the next episode of Snap Decisions. This is your Snap DJ signing off. Take care, everybody.
If only I had spidey senses.